John Smith, Central Beekeeper Supply. I'm going to show you how to assemble a solid bottom board. It's not that big of a deal. You're going to need a wood glue. This happens to be Type Bond 2 premium wood glue that we use here. It's a real good glue for these supers and bottom boards and frames. You're going to need a 7D box nail with a 1/8 shank. These are 2 1/8 long. You're going to need a hammer of your choice. I prefer these little 10-ounce hammers. Make it easy on yourself and they do the job. The components of the bottom board are as such. You have a back rail. Your back rail comes pre-drilled for your nails. It is a channel groove. Your side rails have the channels as well. The thing that you need to pay attention to when putting these together is that the difference on the narrow side and on the wide side of the channel, that's a huge difference, because if these parts don't assemble in this manner, you close up the gap that you need for your bottom boards to slide into. So with that being said, the only other thing you would probably like to have with you on hand is a good clamp to pull these together tight when you're ready to nail them. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, you can use air nails, air staples, clean the debris from the hole where they pilot drilled it. You can do that with your pocket knife. A lot of times you can just scrape it off with your fingernail. Apply a generous amount of glue there. Get your side rail. Remember, these have to mate. They have to leave an open channel. Open channel. That goes together. You can reach right in there and kind of tell that those are joined and smooth, which will allow that board to travel. And get your nail started. The other nail. These are soft pine. It's not a big hard material. These nails penetrate it well. You want to make sure, again, always check that. That's critical. You put one of these together and it's wrong, most of the time you'll break them apart trying to get them back loose. Check it on the inside. Add another nail. You're basically building the fixture to hold the tongue and groove parts that go in the center of this. Once that's done, you can turn that U shape up. Remember, you have your 3 components. One will be a smooth cut board on one side and have a groove or a tongue. That could go either way for you. Your center board will have a tongue and a groove. Lastly but not least, there is one more board that will have a face cut solid end. You finish with that, you start with that. Wide boards always start inside. So we're going to go to the wide board. Here's just a little tip that I have learned over time. When you put this together, if you'll cut a relief groove in that with a box knife, a pocket knife, you're doing that to allow the glue another spot to go. Sometimes if you don't, that glue will actually try to push these boards back out. If you'll, on this first board, I like to apply some glue here because I'm going to drag a lot of that off as I go down these channels. that goes to the bottom. This excess glue, just keep it inside the channel. We want to make sure that this board is seated in the back rail. Okay, we're ready to add another board. This will be your center board. It has a tongue to fit the groove, and it has a groove. We're going to add just a little bit of glue here. Keep in mind, this is not a science. Our tongue goes down. We've got glue on the interior rail from that first board. That slid in nicely. Always give them a little check there to make sure your groove is seated. Now you're getting up here, we're kind of wearing some glue off the edges. We're ready for our final board. Got the glue on there. This is your final board, so it goes in here. Everything tends to be squared up and solid. On that left side, you want to seat the board. Now, another good thing to have when you're doing this is a tape measure and a good clamp. So you put your clamp on the back and on to the front, kind of get it where that is pulling square. Compress that board. You can look and see the difference right here. You've got, just kind of eyeball, you've got the right gap there, that you've got the matching gap on the opposite side. Your board joints are now compressed enough that they're probably squeezing some of the glue out. I'm satisfied with that, and we will move our clamp over, but we're going to tack this rail first. So move in approximately a ½ inch, kind of start your nail like that so that you don't split that board. Okay, that has that section captured. Release that. You see the tension where that allowed that board to give. That's the kind of pressure that you're putting on this board. Now you're going to take this back, close that gap back up with your clamp. That pulled it back up down here. It pulled it. Now it's as tight as this. You check that gap. It's the same as this. Come up here and start another nail. You give that a little bit of hole start with that. Start it, wobble it, and let that hole kind of get augured out a little bit so that when you drive that, you're not splitting this section right here in the front. So you've got this caught, you've got this caught. Your clamp has pulled the tongue and groove boards to the back. It's time to nail it out. I like to put in my side nails first. If you can see, you've got a narrow side to this board. You've got a deep side. So you got a 5/8 side and basically a 3/8 side on the board, because they can be reversed in use. But typically this is the side the box sits on. Right now that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm telling you. On the narrow side, you're off center driving your nails so that you're not driving these nails out of the tongue and groove board. So get it where you know approximately where that board is below. Put one in there. That completely holding your first small board. I like to jump roughly 3 inches. That gets me to the next segment. Can't hardly find it with them pulled together that good. The next segment of the board, I want to catch a nail opposite side of it. Then to finish that, you want to go ahead and get this nail caught back here in the corner. Okay, got that done. Swap sides. You don't need to clamp, you've already got it caught. Repeat your nailing pattern. Jump about 3. Make sure you're hitting that board. Jump the cross to this board. You can put as many nails in these boards as you want to put in them. There's just not a need for over nailing them. By the time you have the glue dry and the nails that you've got in it holding. So you need 2 more final nails. There'll be one here, there'll be one here. You want to know this is the narrow side, so you want to be about right here. Come in about the same over here at a guesstimate. That board's completed and ready for paint, eco treatment, your choice of coatings, but that's the way that you build it. Thanks for watching.